Okay, so now we're going to talk about the highly skilled, low motivation athlete, the one who's here. And I will speak for all the coaches watching this and all the parents watching this too. If you are this low motivation, high skilled athlete, you drive us nuts. Okay? You do. Because inside of us, we see inside of you, the athlete, so much potential, right? So much potential, and thoughts that kind of go through your head is like, oh, if you only would get it, that kind of thing, just if you'd only just turn it up a notch, you would be phenomenal. And so that is, if you are an athlete in the low motivation, low skill quadrant or high skill quadrant, I think the first step to recovery is awareness. And if you just know that you are that athlete and you just identify yourself, hey, I'm lazy. I am, and if you just identify that, what usually comes out of that is you go, hey, you know what? I know I'm lazy. I know I'm low motivation. I shouldn't be a distraction. I got that. But if I just worked a little bit, I'm going to have better results. Better results usually means more fun. Okay. And with more fun, that turns into a high motivation, more fun loop. So higher the fun, higher the motivation, higher the fun, higher the motivation. Okay. So if you are an athlete and you are in that low motivation, high skill, you really got to look hard inside and go, man, and this is where us as coaches, right? No different than the low motivation, low skill guy. We're trying to get you to turn it on. And one of the things I want to share with those athletes is that, years ago, I met a guy who was an Olympic caliber swimmer. He never quite made it to the Olympics, but he made it to U.S. Olympic trials and finished just outside of making the team. This was a while ago. But when I met him, he was married, had a very successful business, beautiful wife, and he said, he taught me this quote, and I don't know where the quote came from originally, but it goes like this, if I can remember it correctly. It's in the scale of life, right? So like one of those old-fashioned scales, right? The pain of discipline far outweighs the pain of regret, okay? So the amount of time and work and effort and that short-term pain, when you look back on your life, weighs ounces, and that pain of regret for having missed the opportunities because you didn't work hard enough and you joked around or those types of things weighs incredibly heavy, all right, as you look back on things. And I think, at the end of the day, when we are no longer on this earth, we look back on our experiences, go, did we put in the effort? Did we put in the time? Did we truly do the best with what we knew at the time? And from that, we look back and go, man, what is there regret? Did you regret not trying harder in practice? Did you regret not, getting it together? But ultimately, I'll give you this. An athlete who falls in the low motivation, high skill quadrant just didn't really see the opportunity. And I think when someone can really see the opportunity and really understand it, then the effort they put in is worth it. And so for me as a coach, when I have an athlete like this, I want to help them understand where they're at. And but the only time you can get through to an athlete like that is if they're listening. And if they're not listening, there's nothing you can do. I mean, you can only just keep giving examples, right? As parents, we know this, right? You just keep giving examples, and eventually that small boy, girl, child grows up, and starts doing some pretty cool things. So, but eventually it has to click for them. So we don't give up on these athletes. We don't give up on kids like this. Far from it. We just keep shining the light, and hopefully they see the path and they make the most of it. I've seen some great kids turn around in the course of a matter of months when someone just kind of helps them, believes in them, and eventually that low motivation kid turns into a high motivation kid, and great things happen. Okay, so if that's you, I hope this helps. And let's move on to that highly skilled, highly motivated athlete and what we can do for them.